Hey guys, it's Alicia. Today is Easter Sunday and I'm out here on my porch instead of my kitchen because today I'm going to do something a little bit different, and my hubby is going to smoke a turkey for us. So I thought I'd just show you how he does that.
So before I do anything with the meat that I'm smoking for the day, I set up the smoker because it takes a little while for the charcoal to get up to heat. This is a Weber Smokey Mountain. It's an 18 inch. I think it's an 18.5 inch. People call them the Weber Bullets because they look like Bullet Bill from the old Super Mario games is my understanding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to light the charcoal, and I'm using a Weber chimney. It's amazing how quickly the charcoal or how easy it is to light the charcoal with one of these. So I just put 2 or 3 pages of newspaper underneath and fill it up. And if you haven't figured it out already, you light the newspaper. And grunt because you're old and your back hurts.
Oh.
Now, the first time I used one of these, it didn't light. And every other time since, it's that's all you have to do. So hopefully, because we're filming, it doesn't play around with me.
So I bought this, I'm getting smoke. I bought this, I just call it the Bullet. I bought this smoker for my hubby about 6 years ago at a Cabela's. I think it was an anniversary gift. Correct?
Yeah.
Is that what you just said? Okay. It was for an anniversary gift, and we absolutely love it. Been using it ever since. And I think we actually like this thing more than the grill over there that we've had for about 5 years, I think, which is also Weber.
This is what we're smoking. I don't know where the weight is.
It's probably on the tag.
Oh.
It is 7.43 pounds.
So this one's injected. This is like most turkeys in the store. It's injected with a 15% solution. It's basically a saline solution. There's people that do smoking that don't touch things that were injected. It works fine. You just don't have to brine it to get a good flavor. It's basically already brined. So I just took it out of the package and took the gravy mix out of the cavity. So it's just the breast. And I think the most I'll do with it is just cut off excess skin here, and then I'll rinse it, dry it, and then season it. So we're going to season the breast. Now, traditional barbecue where people are smoking meats, there's all sorts of crazy rubs. There's wet rubs, dry rubs. A lot of times people rub it the night before, put it in the fridge, which you can totally do. My wife has always really liked Lowry's, and so the first time I did a turkey breast, I was lazy and I just sprinkled this on there and it tasted good, so that's all I use. I don't, obviously if we're smoking today, I don't let it sit overnight, so you just give a liberal dusting of the salt. You know, and you could rub it down with olive oil first, you know, and that'll add some flavor, but it really helps the stuff stick to it. But the turkey's kind of, you know, it's got some moisture, so that's all that you really need to do.
You want more?
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit. That's fine. I think that this would taste fantastic even without seasoning. Between the smoke flavor and what they inject in it, the flavor is really good. But this is real simple, no reason not to do it. And that's the prep right there. Okay, yeah, some people wait till all the coals are starting to ash. it doesn't matter. As long as they're lit really good, they'll continue to burn and ignite the other. So we're cooking the turkey between 325 and 350. And so when you cook at that heat in one of these, you don't put water. This is a water smoker, and I'll show you where the water goes traditionally. But when there's water, it takes a lot more resources to get it up to that heat, so we do this without water in the smoker. So we're going to go ahead and finish prepping with the charcoal. I like to give a little shake before you put it over anything, because coals inevitably fall out and burn your deck. And then because we're burning at a high heat, you gotta use a lot of charcoal. So I just top it off. Okay, so looking down inside there's where the water goes. And again, we're doing it dry, so that just lifts out. You can put hot water in and put it back in there. And we're going to let that set while we go do the last thing with the turkey, and then I'll come out and show you how I set up the smoker to cook. So we're going to insert the temperature probe, and you shoot for the thickest part of the breast. And just try to get it in the center. I'm going to call that good. Like I said earlier, we didn't do anything with the water bowl. If you decided you didn't want to use the pan, you'd want to put foil in the bowl so it was a lot easier to clean up. I find there's no reason to not put it in a pan and just make cleanup all that much easier. So I put the probes through the lid because I don't like them to get pinched. Sometimes this is a little bit tricky, but we'll see. So as you can see, this has got two probes. It's got one for the temperature of the smoker, and then it's got the temperature of the meat. Now when I first got this, I kind of had made the decision to go with a charcoal smoker. There's a lot out there. There's electrical, there's propane, there's hybrids. And for a number of years, I would just cook using the vents on the bottom. Weber's, claim to fame are these vents, and that's how you control the temperature. So I learned how to cook with the vents, and then I decided, well, I didn't want to babysit the smoker, and it's required if you do the vents. So I went ahead and bought this. It's a DigiQ temperature control from Barbecue Guru. This is an amazing thing, and they have adapters for almost any type of smoker you can think of. And so the adapter for the Weber, that's all that is, and it screws to the vent hole, and then everything else is closed. And so when the temperature has to go up, it turns on the fan, it blows in the air, and that's how it monitors and controls the temperature. So we'll just finish with the setup here real quick. And as you can see, it has a place for the pit and the food. So there's the temperature gauge for the smoker and the temperature gauge for the food. And you just set it there.
Sorry.
Important to give it some power. Okay, and so I'm going to cook this at, I said between 325 and 350 degrees. So make sure we're on the pit. You set the temp. I'm going to go for 335. This thing cooks at about plus or minus 5 degrees, which is totally fine for a smoker. Now the food, you know, for turkey, I'm gonna set this for 160, and then I'll do my final time based off of what the internal temperature is with a instant read thermometer. This is good for your rough temperature target, but I would never trust this to tell me what the meat was as far as consumption goes. Okay, and that's all you do for that. Now when you first put the charcoal in one of these, the heat comes up and this thing won't do anything. But we'll show you what it does when it's actually actively controlling the temp. So the last thing that we need to do is we need to put in the smoking wood. I've tried all different kinds of wood, and I've settled on pecan. It's just it's kind of a mild smoke. It's kind of sweet, but it's not like a fruit wood. And I use this for everything.
Because you've used lots of stuff like applewood and others, right?
And hickory and mesquite, and this is the way to go as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go with that. Should totally be fine. The Weber has an access door on this side, so if you have to add more water for your cook, you have to add more charcoal for your cook, you have to add more smoke, you can do this without having to deal with the whole thing. I could have put this in when I did the charcoal, but I still had to deal with the turkey, so I'm just going to put this in now. And I'll just set this, I just throw some in, and then I grab some tongs and I move it so the wood is somewhat distributed evenly on the charcoal. And that won't start smoking right away because we put the fresh charcoal on top of the stuff that's burning. But since we're going to be cooking for an hour and a half to 3 hours, there's plenty of time for that turkey to take on the smoke that those will produce. Okay, so you can hear it now. The computer's decided that it needs to up the heat, and so it's turned on the fan, and you can see that it's actively blowing air into the system because the smoke's coming out forcefully. And so at this point, it's just set it and forget it. I'll come check on it every so often, make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. And then when it hits its target temperature, that thing will start beeping, and then we'll come out and do the fine tuning of the final temperature. That started beeping, so that probe is saying that the internal temp is 160. I'm going to turn that up so it stops beeping. My guess is it needs to go longer, but it's good to check. Looks good.
Looks pretty.
Yeah, so we're at 156.
It's got 9 more degrees to go. 58 or 6.
Yeah, so 10 more to go. And I had it on 160, so I'll set it to 170 now. And then that should be good, but we'll check again.
We love that thermometer too, by the way.
Yeah,
show
these
that
are
a little
expensive,
closer.
but worth every penny.
What are those, about $100?
Yeah, 100 bucks.
Yeah, they're definitely worth it though.
ThermoWorks, ThermoPen.
I use it more than he does. I actually got it for him for smoking and all that, but I use it all the time.
Totally good.
All right. Bella. Hi, Bella.
So it got up to 170, which is a little high, but it's not going to be dry, I can guarantee you. It's a beautiful mahogany color, just what you want with about anything that you're going to smoke. So we'll let it rest for about 20 minutes to let the juices get back into the meat, and then we'll be ready to carve it up and serve it.
No?
And poultry will turn pink.
I don't know if that's picking up that it's pink, but yeah.
But that isn't undercooked. That's the color of the meat when it takes on the smoke.
And there we have it. It is really, really moist. Tastes delicious. And this is what we are having for Easter dinner. Got it alongside a little bit of salad here. This is kind of my family traditional salad that I like to make on holidays. It's really good. I will link it below in case anybody wants the recipe for that. And we will probably have, well, the kids will probably have a little bit of a shortcake dessert, but my hubby and I are just having this. We're trying to be good. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.